Good morning, students. Standard 10 Political Science Electoral Process. Last chapter we dealt with. Actually, we dealt with the working constitution. And the constitution of India, as we all know, being too much flexible, can understand that the rules and regulations or the rights given to the citizens of India are something which otherwise throughout the world are somewhat restricted to every citizen of its own country. Here, we will also understand one of the biggest asset of the democratic system of India. Indian democracy being so successful is its own electoral process. We all know that India achieved independence in 1947. After that, as we move further, first general elections, keep it in mind, general elections. Now, general elections are the elections which are held to or for the seats of Lok Sabha. Lok Sabha's elections are termed as general elections just because each and every individual Indian who is liable for voting gets the right to vote. Because people at large or each and every citizen of India liable for voting votes. So the election process for Lok Sabha is also termed as general elections. Second, elections in India are held not only for Lok Sabha. Parliament, we all know that Parliament is made up of Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha. So elections are held to Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha, also at the state level. We call it Vidhan Sabha or State Legislative Assembly and Vidhan Parishad, State Legislative Council. Today, all over India, all the states of India do not have this council, that is Vidhan Parishad. Vidhan Parishad is not available all over India. But as we have Rajya Sabha, the upper house of the parliament, so we have Vidhan Parishad. In Maharashtra, we do have it. Now, according to the population and area, constituencies are being made up of. These constituencies do have recognition by election commission, and according to the constituencies, may it be for Lok Sabha, for Rajya Sabha, or even for Vidhan Sabha, Vidhan Parishad, members are being elected by. Now, by means members are elected by the people at large for Vidhan Sabha and at the national level Lok Sabha. So these are too close to the general elections. But for Rajya Sabha, for Vidhan Parishad, and similarly even to local self-government bodies, there are certain seats which are reserved, categorized, and peoples are selected, chosen. Definitely, there is also a criteria of elections, but according to a specific process, they are being elected. So, these elections thoroughly goes under the guidelines of Chief Election Commission, Chief Election Commissioner, and his two associates of India. Keep it in mind, Chief Election Commission's office or the Chief Election Commissioner of India is holding a chair, holding an office which is autonomous, not under the pressure of the government. The working process totally is different. We have to understand how exactly it all works. But it is the neutral work of the election commission since beginning that today Indian democracy have matured enough and stand up as a strong democratic country. One, we have to understand India is this land, India is a parliamentary democratic nation. It is a republic. Definitely people choose its representation. And it is a democratic but parliamentary. That means parliament holds a strong basis. Another thing we have to understand that apart from this Indian democracy, the elections that are held here are totally impartial. The world acknowledges the elections of India as free and fair elections. Many countries send its staff members to study, to get the idea how election should be for them. So, as far as elections in India are considered, definitely they are free and fair, and thanks for this to the Election Commission as well as the government, which do not interrupt, manipulate the working system. And now we have to understand that what is representation, what is representation, and why representation. Keep it in mind. Long ago, when world was not exactly the same as it is today, or we can say that population was not so high, people in groups used to move from one place to another. They were living a life just like that of the gypsies, moving from one place to another. But at that time, being less in number, used to come together, maybe in the evening or whatever the times they want to discuss. And discussions used to take place. Each individual used to participate in the discussion, and it was in this view that people choose their representative, then term as king, monarch. The king has his own army, king has his own kingdom, and slowly the working process started to change according to the lifestyle of the people. This moved further, and then we have to come to know that representation slowly started changing. The king, who was the supreme leader of that group, handed over the charge to his son. Now, in the beginning, we can see that many of the king's next generation also proved to be better. And because of it, those empires strongly built by the generations stood giving example or setting example for others. Throughout the world, we find such type of examples. But in the span of time, slowly, this all culminated change into just like a family matter. Now it was that king's son will become a king. King's son will become a king. In the beginning, it was the leader chosen by the people. Now, king's son will become the king. So, naturally, as time proceeded, all the generations, as we claim it, were not liable to rule, and yet they carried on. But because of this, certain changes came. There was a time when in many small rural areas, people revolted against their own king. And to mention some, we know that this happened in America. America's War of Independence is the first example set forward process that gave boost to the democratic set form. Second is French Revolution. Liberty, equality, fraternity, the struggle given by the French. And then in 1917, Russian Revolution. All these three revolutions paved the way for the democratic set form of government in the world. Or we can say that they were the real revolutions which disturbed the monarchies of the world. Though these revolutions took place at three different times in three different countries, America, France and Russia. But the base for today's democratic set form of government lies in their revolutions. The people who revolted against their own king set up an example how the leader must be. And now we will move towards representation. What is representation? The people choosing their leader from a constituency, maybe for Lok Sabha or Vidhan Sabha, is termed as representative. Now, representation will be member of parliament or member of legislative assembly. If it is for center, then it will be member of parliament. If it is for state, then it will be member of legislative assembly. We also call this Vidhan Sabha, and for this as maybe Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha, but here we have to form it Lok Sabha. Now, these are the members who are chosen by the people, elected by the people as the representative. Now, why representation? Representation is needed because today the same set form of government that was in the beginning, may it be the Greek or even as we call it Ramraj. Ramraj is not possible in today's sense. One, the work of the government have changed or risen to many fold. Many subjects are included now. Second, people or population have increased a vast. Every individual cannot be a part of government's work. So, to represent someone who will represent our views near the government at the national level, at the state level, even at the local self level, we need our representation. Today's wards, as we call them, as far as Akola is concerned, are even the ward members have the voting list of near about 20,000, 15 to 20,000 per ward. So now, if we try to understand all this logic, it is not possible to each and everyone to come together and give their share in policies of government. And it is not possible also that government will be partial, either partial or impartial to all. Because each one cannot reach up to the government, neither government can reach to each one of them. Now, here is the set form of democracy, that is electoral process. Because government cannot reach to each and every individual, or every individual citizen cannot reach up to the government, there is a link between the two. We call it political party workers. These political party workers who aspire for the power at the government level always comes in touch with the common people. They try their best to convince the people the ideologies of their parties, and in return ask for vote. These voters, as they choose the leader, becomes representative. And because the representation now is not possible as it was in the older period, so constituencies and areas are being made, definitely under the guidance of the election commission only. But the constituencies are being made for Lok Sabha, for Vidhan Sabha, and accordingly people are chosen or given nominations. And one among them is elected. The elected representative is termed as either member of parliament or member of legislative assembly. Even at the local self-government, if it is in Mahanagar Palika, we call him ward member. So, accordingly, this representation is most important because of the increasing population. Now, here we have to come towards election commission. Up to here, yes, people choose their representative. Representatives speak out for the people in maybe Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha, Vidhan Parishad, or even in Mahanagar Palika, Nagar Panchayat, Gram Panchayat, whatever it may be. But we have to understand that these people being chosen by the people or as people's representative have to go through a certain process. This process is carried on in the name of election commission or in the name of election by election commission. Election commission, according to the Article 324 of India or Indian Constitution, election commission's office came into being, of which one is Chief Election Commission, also called as CEC. And there are two others, plus 2 is equals to 03. Now these three are responsible for the working of election commission. Under them, the whole of the nation works. Now, the first election commission of India was Sukumar Singh, was an ICS officer of 1921 batch. Definitely, since 1921 to 1947 is a long span he served for the British government in India. But because of this, had a vast experience and was given the charge of election commission, which rather at that time, whatever the difficulties he must have faced, have come. Now, here we have also to understand that what exactly the work, what exactly the charges, what exactly the working scenario of Chief Election Commission is. We have to understand that Chief Election Commission, one Chief Election Commissioner and two assistants or subordinates to him carry on the work. But this office do not have a special staff. The revenue department, the teachers, the professors, the lecturers, even the bank officers or In short, the officers or office line of government, we call them government servants, are also the co-staff or the working staff of Chief Election Commission. Keep it in mind. All at the district level, all the district collectors are the Chief Election Commissioner for that area. That means collector of the district directly comes under the control of Chief Election Commission when election is being in process. Elections are in process. So according to the Article 324, an autonomous body, Chief Election Commission's body office, was set up and given the charge to head elections in our nation. Now, while doing so or while carrying so, they had to face many difficulties. In the beginning, it is said that the literary rate of India was even less than 20%. So naturally, more than 80% of the people being illiterate were given the right to vote. Now here it is something that how they must have explained, and we are speaking about 1950s, the first elections that held in India. So the making of the list of the Indian citizens as voters, giving them the training how to vote, taking utmost care that the vote should not be illegal, should not be wasted, and all these things were also to be trained to the staff, that is the revenue department, the collector office, the banks and all others. But while doing so, we have to understand the functions first, that is preparing of election commission. How election commission prepares itself for election? First, they are utmost important. The utmost important work they carry on is making of the list of the voters. Second, timetable and programs of election. Timetable and program. Why timetable is important? Election is not just a process that elections will be carried out and the results will be declared. Timetable is of utmost importance because first, from the day of declaration of the election, from the day of declaration of the elections, government's working as Government of India actually comes to a standstill. All the charges comes in the hands of Election Commission. And from here onwards, till the results are being declared or the new government is being formed, the work is carried out all under the office guidance of Chief Election Commission. So, timetable is utmost important. Timetable that tells us that when election will be. But prior to that, we have to understand that by declaring the timetable, the time is being given to all the political parties to give their nomination, to give their workers, party workers, a chance to stand for election. Second, they have to fill up the form. That means the people who gets the nomination from the party fill up the form. These forms are scrutinized. After scrutiny, the forms are declared as legal or illegal. And then those members who are legal comes forward to propagate, to advertise themselves as the party leaders among the people. There is a span between election, that is the voting day, and nomination of the or files or the members. So between these 7 to 8 days or 10 days, time is being given, and according to this timeline, people propagate. People or parties, leaders, advertisements goes on, and then people are motivated or being canvassed, or they are suggested why they should vote for specific either party or candidate. And after that, voting takes place. With the voting, the member being elected. But while member is being elected, there are certain disputes. Disputes arises. And because of these disputes, as the disputes arises, the government cannot intervene in. But election, it's the responsibility of the Election Commission to tackle all these things. Here, Election Commission works as a judicial board, takes into account all the charges. Again, all the charges are studied and then declared whatever the declaration they have, whether it is correct, judicious or not. But it is binding to all political parties. Now after that, when all the members are being elected, for example, parliament, when we speak about Lok Sabha, we have 550 members, and Rajya Sabha we have 250 members. Now all these members being elected by the people from time to time and declared by election commission. And after the declaration, once they resolve the dispute relating to the elections, then new government comes into it. Definitely, majority wins. So government is being established by the party which receives more seats, more than 50% seats in Lok Sabha. And after that, again, the Chief Election Commission gives recognition to the political parties. What is a political party? Actually, studying deeply, we come to know that there are different types of political parties. Some parties are at the national level, some parties are at the regional or state level, and some parties are parties, but not recognized as political parties. Though they have the work of the political party, they work just like that of the political party here, because they do not have the voting percentage. Now, the National Party is a party which gains the recognition as a national party with certain specific either voting or members being elected in one or more than one states or other fractions to which or the rules to which they can fulfill the norms to be a political party at the national level. There are very few parties at the national level. To mention, BJP is the national party. Even Trinamool Congress, though we call Indian National Congress as one of the oldest party, established in 1885. Yet time and tide waits for none. And now, sometimes it will happen that if the criteria, specific percentage voters criteria or members being elected during the election are not up to the mark, any party can use its recognition as a political party. As far as Maharashtra is concerned, we can have some examples of it. And one example is in the name of Maharashtra Navnirman Sena, Manse as we call it. Manse, a party which after being formed had 13 members, that is member of Legislative Assembly, Vidhan Sabha, 13 members. But in the next election, had only one member, MLA. So naturally, lost its recognition as a political party. And this is how the political parties, to give them the recognition, to withdraw the recognition, is the work of the election commission. This is because the political parties has been recognized at the national level, at the state level or at the regional level are the parties which get certain benefits from the government. Government of India provides certain amenities, certain benefits to these parties because these parties represent the aspirations of the people. Keep it in mind, India is a nation where there are near about more than 2 to 300 political parties. At every state, we find certain names which we do not know. Even in Maharashtra, as far as Maharashtra is concerned, we do not know all the names of the all political parties. There are many parties which are available even in our Akola. But because the members do not get elected, because they do not have the strong support of the people of the local level of Akola, we don't know them. And in this way, there are many people who are aspiring to them. Keep it in mind, all political parties struggle to gain power at center, at state or at local level. When it comes to the local level, that is Mahanagarpalika, the local people comes together to form a political party at the local level for board elections. When it is for Vidhan Sabha, people do come together and they try their best to gain power at the state. If it is not so, some parties come together. We call it coalition government. We call it coalition government. So this coalition government comes together. Many political, more than one, many means more than one political party comes together to fulfill the mark of 50%. And this 50% voting, any party which receives is liable to gain power at the center. Is liable to gain power at the center, at the state or at the local level. But whatever it may be, recognition of election commission is the first criteria to be in power. Till election commission works with its motive in free and fair terms and conditions, elections of India are appreciated all over the world. This is one of the biggest assets. There were times when many of the malpractices used to continue. We know about the crimes that are conducted during the election process. To name some areas, particularly the Bihars, as we call it, the badland topography of Madhya Pradesh, Bihar, some parts of Uttar Pradesh, Orissa, West Bengal, are the areas where terrors is being created among the voters, and slowly to gain power, muscle power as we call it, or even money power. People are being lured by giving them the money, and in this way, the political process is being disturbed. To take care, election commission. In the beginning, definitely it was. Slowly, as technology developed, as communication network developed, as India grew into a strong economy, as India had its more of the assets, election commissions started working to be harsh. And today there are very few catchments in India where illegal voting, as we call it, may take place, or else it never takes place. But it's a long process that from a page to electronic machine, EVM as we call it today. It's a long process that India's political system has gone through, has experienced a great change. And because of now electronic machine, voting machine, EVMs as we call them, there is a very few chances of getting every vote as illegal. Even a single vote cannot get illegal. There was otherwise a time when voting was with the stamp pad, it was considered as illegal. Clashes were continued. Continued clashes were coming up during the election process. And to stop this, the new versions of technologies were accepted by the all political parties in consultation with all political parties. Election Commission implemented it, and today, definitely, India stands with pride as far as the first stage of election process is going on, till giving recognition to the political parties. In the next lecture, we will find some more interesting facts about India's political scenario where elections are held in free and fair conditions. Thank you.